The silence in a dying marriage is the loudest sound you'll ever hear. Emily Parker stood in her glass prison, a mansion that gleamed with everything except love. 6 months pregnant, she watched the rain streak down windows that cost more than most people's cars. Her husband Daniel hadn't come home in 3 days. But tonight she would find out why. Love makes you brave. Or foolish. Emily couldn't tell the difference anymore. She packed his favorite meal, roast chicken with lemon and garlic, the kind that used to make him smile. The rain soaked through her coat as she drove downtown. The elevator to the 15th floor felt like ascending to her own execution. And then she saw them. "What are you doing here?" His voice was flat. Not guilty. Not sorry. Just irritated. Like she was an inconvenience. The woman, Claire, pretended to shuffle papers. But Daniel didn't move. Didn't apologize. He just looked at Emily like she was a stranger who'd wandered into the wrong room. "You're embarrassing me," he said. And something inside her broke. Morning came with a knock that shattered what was left of her world. Helen Parker, her mother-in-law, stood at the door with 2 housemaids and an expression colder than the rain. "Daniel isn't coming back," Helen said simply. "Pack your things." You were always the mistake he couldn't admit. Emily begged. She pleaded. But Helen's eyes held no mercy. "Leave with some dignity, dear. It's all you have left." She waited at the gate with her single suitcase. Surely he would come. Surely Daniel would stop the car, take her hand, say it was all a mistake. His car appeared in the distance. Hope fluttered in her chest like a dying bird. But he didn't slow down. He didn't even look at her. His eyes stayed straight ahead. As he drove past, leaving her standing there, pregnant, homeless, and utterly alone. Where do you go when every door is closed? Her parents were gone. Her old apartment sold to strangers. Her phone's battery dying like her hope. Emily sat on a park bench as rain began to fall again. She tried calling Daniel. "The number you have dialed is no longer in service." Helen's number? Straight to voicemail. That's when she understood. They hadn't just thrown her out. They'd erased her. By nightfall, she found shelter at an abandoned bus stop on the edge of town. No buses came anymore. Just rain. Just darkness. Just the sound of her own heartbeat and the tiny life inside her. "I promise I won't give up," she whispered to her unborn child. But even she didn't believe it. Her body sagged. Her breathing slowed. And for the first time, she stopped fighting. "God," she whispered into the darkness. "If you can hear me, give me one sign. Anything." 2 women walked past, sharing an umbrella. "Did you see? Daniel Parker finally got engaged to Claire. About time, right?" Emily's blood turned to ice. Engaged. He hadn't even waited. The laughter of those strangers mixed with the rain, and Emily felt something shift inside her. Not just pain anymore. Something harder. Something that would help her survive. Lightning split the sky. In that flash of white light, Emily saw it, a dark shape under the bench, half covered by wet cardboard. At first she thought it was trash. But something made her reach for it. The zipper stuck, then gave way. Her breath caught in her throat. Inside were stacks of $100 bills. Neat bundles wrapped in rubber bands. Not dozens. Hundreds. Her hands trembled as she touched the money. Real. This was real. Her mind screamed warnings. This was wrong. This wasn't hers. Someone would come looking. But another voice, quieter, darker, whispered, "What if this is the sign? What if God left this here for you?" She looked around. Empty streets. No one watching. No one caring. She pulled the bag close to her chest, feeling its weight. And for the first time in days, she didn't feel helpless. The question was simple. Would she take it? She took it. Her hands shaking, Emily walked until she found a cheap motel with a flickering vacancy sign. The clerk barely looked up. $72. She pulled out a single $100 bill. And it felt like signing a contract with fate. Room 9. End of the hall. That night, she stared at the money spread across the bed. "Just until I figure it out," she whispered. But deep down, she knew. There was no going back. The next morning, Emily Parker died. And Emma Collins was born. At Sunny's breakfast spot, she saw a help wanted sign. "You interested?" the waitress asked. Emily hesitated, then lied. "Yes. My name is Emma. Emma Collins." The lie slipped out like silk. A new name. A new life. She used the money to rent a tiny apartment. One room, cracked paint, but it was hers. For the first time in her life, she was free. But freedom built on secrets always comes with a price. Weeks turned to months. Emma worked hard, washing dishes, serving coffee, saving every dollar. The money stayed hidden under a loose floorboard, untouched but always there. A secret. Heartbeat beneath her feet. Her belly grew. Her strength returned. She wrote in a notebook at night, not about the money, not about Daniel, but about survival. About becoming the woman she needed to be. But she couldn't shake the feeling that the past was watching. Then one evening her phone buzzed. An old coworker. "I thought you should know." The photo loaded slowly. Daniel in a tuxedo. Claire in white. The caption read, "Finally with the woman he was meant to be with." Emily stared at the screen until it went dark. But this time, she didn't cry. She just looked around her small apartment and whispered, "Let them have each other. We'll have something better." Her voice didn't shake. The woman Daniel destroyed was gone. Someone stronger had taken her place. 3 months later, the door chimed. Emily didn't look up. "Sorry, we're closed." Silence. She turned, and her heart stopped. Helen Parker stood there, soaked from rain, looking nothing like the woman who'd thrown her out. Her perfect hair was undone. Her eyes were desperate. "Emily," she whispered. The name hit like a bullet. No one had called her that in months. "Daniel's missing. And I need your help." "He vanished 2 nights ago," Helen said, trembling. "His car was found by the river. Empty." Emily's stomach twisted. "And Claire?" Helen's face hardened. "Gone. Took everything. $5 million. Company money, just vanished." Emily felt the floor tilt beneath her feet. $5 million. The exact amount in her floorboards. The money wasn't a miracle. It was evidence. And she'd been living on it for months. Days later, he walked through the door. Daniel. But not the man she'd married. This Daniel was hollow-eyed, unshaven, desperate. "Emily," he breathed. "I need your help." She stared at the stranger, wearing her ex-husband's face. "Help? You threw me away like trash. Why would I help you?" His eyes filled with tears. "That money Claire stole. If I don't return it, I go to prison. Please, Em. You're all I have left." Then his eyes changed. Calculating. Familiar. "You've done well for yourself," he said slowly. "New life. New job. You could lend me something. Just to get back on my feet." And there it was. The real Daniel. Still using. Still taking. Still believing the world owed him everything. Emily's voice came out. Cold and clear. "Let me understand. You left me pregnant and homeless. Married my replacement. And now you want me to save you." He actually smiled. "For old time's sake." She said one word. "No." The next morning, the television crackled to life. Local businessman Daniel Parker has been arrested on charges of corporate fraud and embezzlement. Millions remain unaccounted for. Emily's teacup froze halfway to her lips. There he was, her ex-husband in a mugshot, hollow-eyed and defeated. The mighty had fallen. But Emily's secret was still safe. Or was it? The news continued. Authorities are investigating all potential witnesses and associates. Her hand trembled. They would come asking questions. And she had 5 million answers hidden beneath her floor. 2 weeks later, pain tore through her in waves. The hospital lights were too bright. The contractions too strong. But when they placed him in her arms, her tiny, perfect son, everything else disappeared. She named him Hope. Because that's what he was. Her reason to fight. Her reason to finally do what was right. The money had saved her when she had nothing, but keeping it would destroy everything she'd built. That night, Emily made her choice. 6 months later, a small storefront opened on Main Street. The Haven, the sign read, a support center for single mothers. Emily used portions of the money carefully, rent, supplies, food for women who'd been where she'd been. Broken, abandoned, desperate. But she kept records, detailed records, because this wasn't theft anymore. This was redistribution, taking blood money and turning it into hope. Still, the fear never left. Every knock on the door could be police. Every stranger could be the one who'd recognize her. Then she appeared. Helen Parker walked through the Haven's door looking smaller than Emily had ever seen her. No pearls, no pride, just a broken woman seeking forgiveness. I was wrong, Helen whispered, tears streaming. About everything. About you. I built my life on cruelty and called it class. Emily could have turned her away, could have savored the revenge. Instead, she did something that set her free. Take care of yourself, Helen, she said gently, and closed the door. Forgiveness, she realized, wasn't weakness. It was release. 1 year later, the Haven thrived. 20 women had passed through its doors. Lives rebuilt. Hope restored. Then Emily heard the sirens. 2 police cars pulled up outside. Her heart hammered as she held hope close. This was it. The reckoning she'd always known would come. The detective walked in slowly. Emma Collins. Emily's voice was steady. Yes. He pulled out a folder. We've been investigating the Parker case, and we have some questions. Emily closed her eyes, ready to face the truth. But then, we've been investigating the Parker case, the detective continued, and Claire Reynolds confessed. She confirmed she dumped the money at that bus stop. Panicked when things got too hot. She assumed it would be taken by police or criminals. She never imagined, he looked around the Haven, that it would end up here, creating this. Emily could barely breathe. He smiled slightly. The DA reviewed your case, given that you were abandoned, pregnant, and homeless when you found it, and that you've used it to help others. They've decided not to press charges. Consider it found money, legally yours. Emily's legs nearly gave out. The detective tipped his hat. You did good here, ma'am. Keep doing it. When he left, Emily sank into a chair, holding hope tight. She'd spent a year waiting for punishment. Instead, she'd been given freedom. Real freedom. The other mothers gathered around her, and together they stood, not as victims anymore, but as survivors, as warriors. Emily looked at her son and whispered, sometimes the darkest nights lead to the brightest dawns. The Haven's door stood open, and outside, the sun was rising.